you ever stared up at the great dome above you and watched the sun chart its path across the sky, observed the moon's crescent, or reached for the clouds as the wind blew them overhead? The world above us is fascinating, and today we will explore the layers of the atmosphere which protect us from the harsh environment of space and help support life on Earth. The different systems of Earth are classified into 5 regions or spheres. The lithosphere is the rocky portion of Earth. The hydrosphere is Earth's water. The biosphere consists of Earth's living things like animals, plants, and people. The cryosphere is the frozen areas of our planet. And finally, the atmosphere is all the air around and above us. The atmosphere can be thought of as 2 large layers which are further divided into more layers. To help you remember all the layers, you might want to use a pencil and paper to draw each layer and write out some interesting facts. The lower atmosphere, or homosphere, is between Earth and the upper atmosphere, or heterosphere. The homosphere is made up of mostly the same gases mixed together. The air we breathe consists of mostly nitrogen at 78%, with oxygen following at 20.95%, and other gases in trace or varying amounts like argon, water vapor, and carbon dioxide. The turbopause separates the homosphere and heterosphere at approximately 80 kilometers. The heterosphere has distinct layers. The prefix hetero means different in Greek, suggesting the different compositions of the layers in the heterosphere. Lighter atoms like helium and hydrogen float to the upper layers of the heterosphere, while heavier atoms stay in the lower areas. Remember I mentioned that the homosphere and heterosphere are divided into more layers? These layers are called the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. These divisions of the atmosphere are based on the temperature and density of each layer. The troposphere is the layer that reaches right to the surface of the Earth, where all the weather phenomena occur. It is the most dense layer due to the weight of the air pressing down from above. Density refers to how compact a substance is. Here, at the surface of the Earth, there are many types of gases all pressed together. The troposphere reaches to a height of 8 to 16 kilometers. This variation in height is due to how compact the air molecules are. If you were to move upwards through the troposphere, it would get progressively colder. This is called a temperature gradient. At the edge of the troposphere is the tropopause. The next layer is the stratosphere, and it reaches a height of approximately 50 kilometers. The stratosphere contains the ozone layer. Ozone, which can be written like this, consists of 3 oxygen atoms bonded together. Very simply, the ozone layer sends harmful radiation from the sun back into space, but lets some forms of radiation through. The ozone layer is what makes the stratosphere hot. In fact, this layer of the atmosphere has an opposite temperature gradient than the troposphere, meaning it gets hotter as you go up, reaching about -15 degrees Celsius. The border between the stratosphere and the next layer, the mesosphere, is called the stratopause. Next up is the mesosphere, which reaches about 85 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. Here temperatures decrease as far as -100 degrees Celsius. The mesosphere ends with the mesopause, which is the coldest point in Earth's atmosphere. The molecules and atoms in the thermosphere can exceed temperatures of 1000 degrees Celsius. The thermopause, the edge of the thermosphere, is at 480 kilometers. There are very few atoms in the thermosphere, so the air is considered thin. It is in the thermosphere that the International Space Station orbits, and satellites orbit in this layer or the layer just above. Within the thermosphere is the ionosphere, which protects people from extreme ultraviolet rays. The ionosphere is also used to reflect radio waves, so it plays a major role in our modern communication. The final layer of the atmosphere is the exosphere. There's no distinct line where the exosphere ends, and individual gas molecules such as oxygen, hydrogen, and helium will orbit the Earth and sometimes float off into space. In space, there are very, very few atoms, making space a vacuum, an area where there is no matter, absolute nothingness. Exactly where outer space starts is something that is debated. However, people have named the point where outer space begins the Kármán line. This line is only 100 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. Now, you may be wondering, what does the atmosphere do? If the Earth was an orange, the atmosphere would be only as thick as the orange's peel. So, in a relatively short distance, the atmosphere protects Earth from a lot of the dangers of space. The atmosphere controls Earth's temperature by insulating the Earth, protects the surface of Earth from harmful radiation from space, and allows weather phenomena to occur. Without the atmosphere, it would be impossible for life to exist as it does on Earth, since temperatures would have extreme variances and radiation would harm any forms of life. So next time you get outside or look out the window, you can marvel at the wonders of the world above you.
Bingoa.